Hello, people, and welcome to my channel. I had a viewer asking about if I can talk about the law of assumption and money. And I think this is a great topic to talk about because a lot of us are always seem to be in the lack. So let's talk about it. Now, for me, the law of assumption and the law of attraction, I saw it in action when I was unfortunately in a position I was pretty detrimental. My son was diagnosed with cancer. Now, I'm going to make another video about this because I believe, I know that I manifested my son's cancer with my thoughts of fearing that I would lose my son. Now, I don't want to talk, this is not the video I want to talk about this, but what I want to talk about is when my son was diagnosed and we needed to go to Ottawa, to CHEO to get him to give him chemotherapy for 3 years. The first 9 months, we had to more or less literally stay in the city in order to, he had to receive intense chemotherapy for the first 9 months. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what happened is when this happened, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when my son was diagnosed, me and my ex husband now did not care about money. We didn't care if we lost our house. We didn't care if we lost our cars. We didn't care because at this point, all we cared about was making sure that our son was going to survive this cancer. So all of our financial worries were put aside. And we went to Ottawa and started the chemotherapy. Now, what happened after is what looking back now, makes complete sense, understanding the universal laws. I remember saying to my ex-husband, I said, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but whenever I don't worry about money, whenever I mean, we weren't worrying about it, but I still needed to pay for my gas bill, my hydro bill, and so forth, even though we were going through this, right? Or else they cut things off." So, but what I was trying to explain to him was whenever I go in once in a while, just to make sure that things are okay, there's always money. There's money that comes in somehow. I don't understand. But if I sit there and make sure, there's $77 for the hydro bill and this amount for the gas bill, we're always in the negative. I said, this is crazy. And of course, I remember he looked at me and kind of went, yeah, okay, whatever. But I remember feeling that feeling of what the hell's going on here? If I don't worry about it, money shows up. But if I worry about it, we're in the negative. That was my first glimpse of it. But back then, I didn't know anything about law of attraction, law of assumption. Nothing. This is, 20 years ago. But now that I understand the laws, now I'm able to look back and go, oh, yeah, you weren't worried. You weren't living in the lack. You didn't give a shit. So guess what? Money kept coming in. So for me, and also looking back, and this is the thing, right? The older you are, the more past you have, the more history you have, the more you're able to look back on your life and say, okay, I remember being really worried about money back then, and therefore you were in the lack. Or then going through something else, when you were maybe in a new relationship or something happened to you too that you had been, diagnosed with a disease and you didn't really worry about your finances, and you're able to go, yeah, but then money just kept on coming in. Whatever personal experience that you have encountered, that you're able to look back and go, yeah, I can see now when I was in the lack, first in your mind, right? Then it shows up in your reality. So let's get into this to give you the steps that you need to do in order to make sure that you use the law of assumption properly. Number one, what I want you to do is start observing your thoughts. You need to sit there and write down all the limiting beliefs that were instilled, planted, seated in your brain to make you believe negative or limiting beliefs around money. But for most of us, we've all been told, money doesn't grow on trees, or you need to work really, really hard to be successful. Those are such negative limiting beliefs. Now, what you need to do is write these down And they're going to be different for all of you guys. This is why it's crucial that you sit down. But sit down and do it. But also, I would like you to observe yourself for maybe 2 or 3 days, 2, 3 days, and really see how you are when you go to the grocery store, when you go purchase maybe stuff for your kids, for yourself. How do you feel when you spend your money? Really write all those down and thoughts that are coming into your mind, all the lack thoughts, write them all out. That's number one. Become the observer of your negative limiting beliefs. Number two, I want you to take those negative limiting beliefs and turn them into an affirmation, a positive affirmation. So, for example, money doesn't grow on trees. I want you to start write the opposite, which is money does grow on trees. And I always like to say this in my world because whatever you believe to be true is going to be true. So in my world, money does grow on trees. And I'm actually going to visualize a tree with money coming out of it. The second one, you have to work hard to be successful. The opposite of that is the less I work, the more successful I am. And start saying those. So you first need to write out the opposite of all these thoughts that are coming into your mind and start practicing saying these affirmations in your mind and start catching yourself. Whenever, for example, you're at the grocery store and you get a thought, oh, you have to like switch it right away. Say, no, you're the observer of your thoughts. You're like, Christine, you're not thinking in the abundance, you're thinking in the lack, and change it. Now, this is going to take time, and this is going to be sometimes difficult because your subconscious mind is fighting with your conscious mind, because your conscious mind has been programmed to believe that these beliefs are true. And they're true. So, therefore, because they're true in your mind, that's what you create. Remember, whatever you believe to be true is what you will create in your reality. So, because your thought process has been money doesn't grow on trees, guess what? You're not getting money off the trees like I am, let's say. Okay? So, you need to really pay attention to your thoughts. And as soon as you get a limiting belief about money, you need to switch it to the one, whatever you had written down, the opposite. Money does grow on trees. In my world, money does grow on trees. So that's number two. Number three, I want you to start watching yourself when you're spending money. Watch how you think, act, and feel when you go into your bank account. For most of us, we go and put in our passwords and go into our bank account, and a lot of us get anxiety attacks, or we're scared as to what we're going to see. You need to change that because that is not a person that is living in abundance. You see, if you had $1 million into your bank account, would you not feel excited to go see all your money in your account, or would you feel anxiety? You would be excited. You'd be like, I want to know, let's go see how much money I have in my account today, right? Now, the key thing here is to continue doing this. I want you to get rid of the emotions, the negative emotions, the feelings that you feel when you go into your bank account. Those feelings that you feel when you put in your password, that anxiety, that feeling of lack, that is what is making you create more lack. That is what is making you stay where you're staying. Now, if you said to me, well, Christine, the more I worry about money, the more money I get in my bank account, the more, well, then I'd be like, well, keep worrying about money. But we all know that's not the case, is it? The more you worry about money, the more situations, experiences will happen in your life to make you feel like you're in the lack. So you have to almost pretend in your mind, in your 3D today, that you have $1 million into your bank account. So therefore, how do you act? You get excited when you go put in your password to go see your bank account. That's really, really important. When you go to the grocery store, you got to buy food. You don't have a choice. You got to you got to put gas in your car. You don't have a choice. Sometimes you got to buy a pair of boots, a shirt, clothes. You don't have a choice. You have to purchase these things. Now, I'm not saying to go and overspend. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is when you do the natural things that you're supposed to do, buy food, clothing, buy gas, I want you to feel a sense of freedom. I want you to feel a sense of inner peace. I want you to feel as if you have $1 million into your account. How do you act, think, and feel if you have $1 million into your bank account? And make sure that you act that way. So feel inner peace, feel not worried, feel whatever. I got money. Money comes in all the time. Let's give you an example. If you go do the groceries, right now, if you're in the lack, you'll be comparing prices. This can of corn is 59 cents and this can of corn is 69 cents. I'm going to get the 59 because that's going to save me 10 cents, and 10 cents and 10 cents, I might end up saving $5 in the end. We don't do that anymore. We have $1 million into account. So again, do you see, I'm not telling you to go spend more money or double the amount of groceries you buy. Just purchase what you need or desire, but get the 69 cents one if that's the one you want. You see, if the 59 cents is the one you want, get the 59 cents. Get what you want, not because it's 10 cents less. Don't deprive yourself. And when you go to the checkout counter, do you sit there and scan your food to make sure, oh, this is 59 cents. Does it say 59? Oh, no, it's 69 cents. And then call, Mr. Walmart to say, can you come and change this? Because, you're charging me 10 cents more. If you have $1 million, do you do this? No. Now, when you go pay for it, if you have $1 million, do you worry? Do you sit there and put in the money in your, no. You just tap and you leave. I don't even look at how much my groceries cost. I don't care. I always have money in my bank account. Always. All the time. Money's always there. That's how I live now. But you see, this is what you need to do. You need to pretend as if you already have it. Now, I know, like I said, it sounds like a lie at first. And at first, it might be a little bit difficult to do this, but keep doing it over. Every time you do groceries, try to get rid of a little bit more of anxiety. Every time you do a little bit more. And it might take you a month. I don't know. But do this for 6 months to a year. Could you imagine if you did this for 6 months to a year? In a year from now, you would end up with $1 million into your bank account. It would come somehow. You would get either a better job and you would win a lottery. You would get inspired action. Something would happen in your reality to make you sure that you have $1 million into your bank account, because that's how you're living. You're living in the pretend mode that you have $1 million in your bank account. It has no choice by law to show up. That's how it is. Okay? So keep remember this. This is key thing, is to keep remembering when you go spend money, how do you feel? Look at how you're feeling. We're getting rid of all anxiety. We're getting to a place of an inner peace because we have $1 million into our bank account, so we can spend without worry. That's number 3. Number 4, I need you to be able to accept the 3D, what it's showing you. So you might be going into your bank account, you might be in a negative. So what? You bought some groceries and you went into overdraft that month. So what? You paid an extra $5. So what? Big picture, guys. Big picture. I need you to persist, even though it's showing you that you don't have the money, that it's negative. I want you to continue doing this. Just keep persisting in this state, and it has no choice but to show up. And the faster you do this, the faster you encompass it, the faster you get rid of the anxiety, the faster money will come in. Hopefully this answers your questions about law of assumption and money. This is a way of living, guys, and it works. So please be able and have this undenying desire to accomplish this, and say, if you have your partner, say, me and my partner, we're going to be doing this for 6 months to a year. We're never going to ask how. We're never going to ask when. And you never look for it. Never. Because if you're looking for it, you're not in the state of already having it. So be comfortable with the 3D not showing you what you have. It's not here yet. It's okay. But live as if it already is, and it has no choice but to show up. Think about it. It's a real life changer.